Hey everyone, and welcome to today's practice. We'll be doing a 30-minute restorative practice, and for our practice you will need a bolster, 2 blocks, and a blanket. So if you don't have blocks, you can use books or anything that creates a little bit of elevation. And if you don't have a bolster, option here to use a pillow or 2 pillows just to give you a little bit of height away from the ground. And for the beginning of our practice, we'll be elevating our sit bones, so finding something comfy to sit on, whether it's your block or your bolster. And we'll bring that underneath our sit bones. Finding a little bit of elevation. The palms can either come to rest along the thighs, or maybe it feels more comfortable to have the palms resting anywhere along the body, whether that's the heart space or the belly. And starting to become aware of the block or the bolster underneath the sit bones. Can we begin to root down, feeling maybe a gentle weight extend through the legs? And feeling the body relaxing down towards the earth. Feeling this length through the spine. Maybe observing if the shoulders feel a little rounded today. Are there any areas of tension through our spine, maybe even through the neck or the jaw? And just being mindful of them for our practice today. Coming to observe the breath, whether we're breathing in through the nose or the mouth. And can we invite this quality of softness through the body? And the inhales, feeling this expansion. And exhales, the contraction. And I invite you, if you would like to set an intention for our practice today, you can set that intention here. And then we'll flutter the eyes open, removing the block from underneath. Moving slowly here, we're going to bring our bolster towards the top of our mat, lengthwise, so that we can bring the torso to rest along our bolster. Now before we get there, we're going to bring both the knees over towards the left side of your space, and we're coming onto the right side of the hip. So you might find that the knees are staggered. That's okay, whichever feels most comfortable through the knees. You might even choose to bring a blanket between the knees, and then we'll gaze over towards our bolster as we start to make our way down. And you might find cactusing the right arm, and the left arm can rest in front of the body in any way, whether it's closer to the belly or the top of your space. And the right ear will come to rest down on the bolster. Adjusting in any way for the hips and the side body. Closing down the eyes, or maybe softening the gaze. And starting to become aware of the breath through the side body. Noticing if there's any particular thoughts coming to mind. And can we allow them to pass by like clouds? Acknowledging the thought or the feeling. And then allowing it to pass by. We'll be here for 10 more breaths. Maybe inviting the body to soften here. And then we'll begin to ease out of this side, walking the palms in towards the body, head to rise up slowly, and to come on the other side, palms will come behind the body, the knees will knock over towards the right this time as we come onto the left side of the body. So maybe bringing the block or a blanket for the knees. And then we'll take our gaze over towards our bolster as we begin to walk the palms down, left ear to rest on the bolster, and then finding that arm position that feels the most comfortable through the body, whether it's cactusing the arms, the right palm might be closer in towards the body. And this time, maybe becoming aware of the noises happening around you. The noises happening within your space. And then maybe bringing the focus to the breath. Feeling the rise and fall. Noticing if this side feels a little different, and that's okay. Inviting that quality of softness through the body. We'll be here for 10 more breaths, using this as our opportunity to soften into this shape. Maybe observing if there's an area of tension. And can we invite some ease? To ease out, we'll begin to walk the palms in towards the body, head to rise up last. For our next posture, we'll be bringing our bolster lengthwise across the mat, and we'll find one of our blocks or books, bringing it for the headspace. Now for this posture, we're going to be bringing the bolster around where our bra strap or across the rib cage is, so that the shoulder blades can relax. And then in between the bolster and the blocks, we're going to bring the arms wide, and the block is so that our head can find something to rest on. So you might find that the lowest height meets the neck where it is. If you find that the neck is straining, you can bring the block onto the second height. And we'll take our time as we ease down onto our back. So keeping the soles of the feet on the mat, knees are bent, and we'll start with meeting the shoulders, the upper chest, opening the arms up wide here, and then finding the block underneath the head. So once you feel supported in this shape, whether that means adjusting the bolster or the block, you might choose to keep the soles of the feet on the mat, or maybe extending them to the outer edges of your space. Bringing the focus of the breath into the chest, maybe even through the heart space. Taking this moment to observe how you feel here. How does this feel through the body? Maybe softening the gaze or closing down the eyes. And seeing if we can be present here. knowing that there's no rush. Truly taking this moment for ourselves. Knowing that we deserve rest. Observing what happens when we find stillness. We'll be here for 10 more breaths. To come out of this shape, we'll bend through the knees, planting the soles of the feet onto our mat. You'll roll over onto the right side, left arm comes over to the right, and then using the palms to support you up into seated. For our next shape, we'll be bringing both the blocks to the top of your space, imagining that they were about leg distance or hip distance apart. So you can either bring them onto their medium setting or on the highest height, depending on how much elevation you would like. And if you don't have blocks, that's okay. If you have wall space, you can bring the legs up the wall. And then we'll bring our bolster on top of the blocks. So the essence of this pose is on just elevating the legs higher than our heart space. So if you don't have a wall and you have a chair or maybe even your bed, so just finding that shape. And it doesn't have to be a very high height. You might even simply just bring the bolster underneath. And we'll bring the sit bones close in towards the bolster so that we can bring the legs to rest on top. And if you have a blanket nearby, you might choose to bring the blanket across the belly or over top of the body. So just adding a little bit of extra coziness here. And it might feel nice to have the blanket on the feet if your feet get cold like me. And the palms can rest anywhere along the body that it feels comfortable. Or you might have the arms alongside the body, palms facing up. So feeling the spine rooted down along the mat, the softness through the shoulders, And maybe imagining this breath, the inhale pooling at the feet. And as we exhale, feeling this flow all the way into the head. So this might be like water. Maybe it's thick like honey. You might give a color to this breath. Maybe even giving a quality, whether it's warm or cool. And if this shape feels comfortable through the body, I invite you to stay here. If you'd like to come into a traditional Shavasana, we'll be in this shape for 5 more breaths, and I'll guide you into Shavasana. So if you'd like to come into traditional Shavasana, you'll just remove the feet from the bolster, bringing them towards the outer edges of your mat. If you're using wall space or a bed or a chair, you'll just come to lie on your back. And feet might be hip distance apart, or option to take up space. Bringing the feet as wide as it feels comfortable through the body. And the arms can come alongside the body, palms facing up. Or maybe choosing to have the palms rest along the belly. Allowing yourself to feel fully supported by the earth beneath you. The ground. Maybe connecting with all the parts of the body that meet with your mat, the earth, the floor. Maybe feel as though you were melting down into your space. I'll be here for a few minutes, and I will guide you out with my voice when it's time. Taking this moment for ourselves. and seeing if we can be in this present moment. And slowly we'll start to come back to the breath, finding an expansive inhale and exhale. If you have more time, you are more than welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. For those of you ready to end our practice, we'll start to find some movement through the fingers and the toes. Maybe nodding the head from side to side. And keeping this more grounded, we'll draw one knee in towards the chest and then the other. We might find a gentle rock from side to side. And you can reach the left arm up and overhead, rolling onto the left side of the body, pausing here for just a moment. Integrating our practice. And then slowly using the palms up into any comfortable seat with the eye gaze soft. And then we'll bring our palms over top of heart center. Taking an inhale and an exhale. Finding a moment of gratitude for our practice. And then bringing the palms together at heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for practice today. It was an honor and a privilege to guide you. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite restorative shape is.